Welcome everyone to a fun live stream here, not from the office, here with the audio and video quality and stuff, and yeah, and echo and stuff. Today GCC performance marginalities. Recurring subscribers will know we do here a Linux distribution T2 for 20 years, previously Rock Linux, and optimize and build from source and stuff. And previous videos, long time ago, we now default to link time optimization, LTO, like other distributions, and paired with our smart optimizations that we had historically. Smart meaning because most code doesn't run hot paths in code like GCC or OBS, blitting memory and filters and stuff. So only very few, like if this is a whole screen is your program, like only tiny hotspots. So what Claire invented probably nearly 20 years ago, 18 years ago, smart optimizations in Rock Linux now T2, compiling everything for size because it never runs anyway, and only compile the hotspots with 02 or 03. Previous videos mentioned this already, and now it turns out testing our own stuff here, the last T2 releases, because obviously everything's smart optimized. I even spent some extra efforts of profiling some stuff, like updating the profiling database and stuff a little bit, and actually I still need to significantly do more. But here on this Ryzen 3950X, all the previous videos, where we compiled Linux kernel like in 5 minutes 20 with all the liquid cooling, der Bauer offset plates there on the more main channel, and last but not least the world's fastest memory and stuff, squeezing our Linux kernel compile time down from somewhat previously 3950X over 6 minutes. Now also previous videos of recurring subscribers might have realized 5 minutes 20, that we were pretty satisfied. And now look at that. So not only we had a little bit performance overhead, because usually I compile on my portable Roadwarrior SSD that is now not at this Ryzen. So about, for those who are interested in that, 25 seconds. I'm surprised myself. I didn't expect that because most stuff should be cached. And so like, yeah, 25 seconds apparently mostly, well, it's a little bit new system because that is now not running my old 5-7 year T2 installation, rolling release updated, but latest and greatest from the T2 download server, plus from a world's fastest PCIe 4 SSD. So I didn't expect this because usually 96 gigs of memory, all the stuff should be cached. But yeah, there you have it. But this is not all. So my new record of compiling the all modular Linux kernel is around 5 minutes 39ish, 38ish, so even faster than that. And how did I got to that? I installed this and I was really not impressed by the performance, and I started to play around. It actually took some nights here, because even on a 5950X Linux GCC compilation takes forever, maybe 20 minutes or so. I even custom disabled compiling all the languages I don't need. That sped this up significantly to maybe something like 10 minutes. But even then it takes long to compile GCC and the Linux kernel somewhere between 4 minutes 30-ish, 4 minutes 40-ish to 6 minutes depending on. And it turns out I hit here a significant performance marginality or implementation detail thing with link time optimization that I've not used much the last years, always off and on testing that. And as far as I could found, there is some interaction probably, I guess, with mixing link time optimized GCC, how do they call this? Do they call this kind of LLVM bitcode? This pre-processed binary format, whatever they call it. And as far as I've seen, so I've spent here a couple of evenings for optimizing up to around 10% easily, mostly compile time performance. And as far as I can see, really strange behavior of GCC. So as you see with these options, I played around with these options because it turns out sometimes my system was compiling significantly fast. Actually, you know what, we could actually rebuild that. We probably currently have also I think, less, so we now build GCC. So the problem appears to be, from my imperial testing here, mixing different compilation units with different optimization settings. Also we run out of camera, darn. So much to pre-charging. I'm not sure if that, I probably should reconnect that 1 second. It looks, it even synced here this HDMI stuff. Also, yeah, not so many. In the next days I will probably try to live stream from this bloody, but yeah, needed some tweaking Broadcom driver. So it looks to me that GCC has served problems link time optimizing whole program, mixing different pre-compiled objects with O2 and O3 and OS, and not entirely sure why. Maybe because all the C++ template inlining in GCC, if you have some files accessing, I don't know, whatever they use in GCC, standard arrays and decks and stuff, maybe the code is then obviously different, right? If you optimize one file with OS and one file with O2, OS O2, and then the optimizer probably doesn't recognize this as duplicate and doesn't apply code deduplication and messes up inlining and stuff. Basically, you have then multiple versions, I guess. So I played around with that. I thought, okay, fine, let's actually simply put all the files, because we have here per package. Actually, I wanted to, let's also compile that. I hope we should still be live, right? Also, yeah, this takes significant time. Just analyzing this, 1 hour here, 1 hour there. Basically, I could spend here a whole day. If you should share, like, and subscribe, because we for sure need more subscribers and stuff. Because if I make a pre-edited video on the main channel, this is like a whole afternoon of creating nice diagrams and LibreOffice presentation stuff. I thought I simply slept. Also, wait a second. Let's do one thing, which is. So do we have now? This is RxVT. Anyway, config default config. Let's rebuild that. Optimize. Oh, wait a second. Why is tempf currently off? Why is each time I do something? That is bizarre. That is not ideal. Why? Oops. Why is each time I go live I was pretty sure that wasn't. Nah, what a fail. Anyway, I tried to say, okay, fine, GCC is a performance critical thing for us. Let's just optimize all files. So I placed all the files here in our package developer GCC. Like, I simply find -name star wildcard star dot c wild star and added all those files to our T2 profile things here, and this improved performance again somewhat. Oh, by the way, let's compile that. That improved performance a little bit, but not the full, simply optimizing for O2. And I even thought, okay, fine, let's optimize way more. This is why right now I have already some uncommitted changes. I thought, okay, because we have like debug fast speed, like fast 01. I wish we wouldn't have used those names here, like this Rock Linux legacy. So thinking probably why we have optimization fast speed faster with 01, 02, 03 is probably, we even supported Intel ICC decades ago, like 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And the thinking probably was like, if we support different compilers now, like LVM Clang and stuff that didn't even exist back in the day, but PCC and whatnot, the thinking probably was like, maybe they use other options. Let's use like human readable stuff and map that to whatever the compiler does, or even map that slightly differently. Of course, long story short, and like looking to the future, LVM Clang and stuff, they simply copy GCC levels of O numeric 0 to 3 or stuff. Funny anecdote, I've seen code even using 09 or stuff, but of course just clamps and to 03. Apple's LVM Clang, by the way, does it even support Clang? Maybe even the open source edition. Yeah, from Apple's legacy, I think maybe Metroworks, Code Warrior, or I don't know where that came from. Apple supported OLZ for, I think, even maybe the GCC builds before they switched to Clang. OLZ is, I think, optimized even more for size. Actually, we could check. Do they have? No, they don't. Do they have that? No. It's either that one or the other way around. They don't have that here. I think OLZ is LVM Clang optimized even more for size. So they have OS size and OZ even more size. I think even less inlining or something. Becomes, by the way, I tried that. The code becomes smaller, but it also becomes even slower. Less inlining and stuff. Obviously more function calls. Stuff gets slower. Let's repeat that. This disappoints me now a little bit. That not sure when I flipped, or maybe when I built GCC. Anyway, this distorts now my benchmarking a little bit, because now I'm not sure which of this. Anyway, so I added all the files to GCC, and to my surprise, it didn't bring the performance of the smart, like all the files of there's libgc, there are multiple libraries, also libstandard C++. I thought maybe GCC, now making use of C++, maybe now I'm using more of the C++ standard STL. Added here a lot of files. I reverted that in the meantime. I basically added all the libgcc, STL and GCC core backend stuff here. To that also maybe not the actually no, it actually should have probably have the x86. Anyway, it met the performance like halfway, but not fully. Really disappointing. So this is not an easy workaround of simply adding like next to all files in the T2 database. And because I obviously want the performance as amazing as possible, if adding all the files in there doesn't help much, I'm actually considering marking some packages, like introducing, because I don't want to give up smart optimization, because most stuff like make file system, check file system, parse JSON, like 99% of the stuff in the Linux distribution nearly never runs, and so I don't want to give up the smart optimization, which is the only reason why I'm actually messing around with that. So I'm actually considering for the case, and GCC might be an outliner. We could of course benchmark more with libjpeg and other, like maybe multimedia, FFmpeg, x265 or something. But I guess GCC, also other stuff like FFmpeg, the codecs are probably mostly self-contained. They certainly have some helper functions, but FFmpeg, huge collection of codecs, of encoders and decoders, and I would think the inlining possibility and so on, common expression elimination and stuff, probably not as exhaustive as GCC. Although maybe Clang might be affected. So what I'm considering to do here for that is, as this flex didn't change here the most, or not all, I certainly want all the performance. So what is the issue? I certainly want small, mostly optimized, but small, like optimizing the hot paths like we have done previously. But of course I want also performance, right? It's not like I want to ship something for you and me and for Ronix and people to test and stuff, and then it's like, nah, it's not as fast as it's clearly into something. So The only real workaround I can, well, except adding all files, which didn't really help much. I could of course spend more time with that. And certainly maybe I should actually file, although maybe it's not fixable, right? Even filing a bug report at GCC, Bugzilla, most likely I will just get back like, don't mix O2 with OS or O2 with O3. It's like, yeah, YOLO, whatever, it's your own fault. So why spend the time with Bugzilla? Maybe it's worse, but maybe it's also not fixable, right? If the pre-processed code in the compilation units of individual files are already somewhat optimized, maybe it's unfixable, right? So if I spend 30 minutes or even an hour of even certainly distilling all the information and uploading all the pre-processed data and stuff, why spend an hour or stuff if I already know the outcome will either be don't mix O2 or O3, or it's user's fault, problem is behind the camera and display. And second of all, most likely not fixed soonish anyway, and if I want to continue to release high performance Linux releases. And so my idea is that we mark those packages that are highly performance critical, which I tried, by the way. So the Linux kernel is not the most affected because it's currently not using link time optimization. That's not yet supported mostly. You will sometimes find news stories of no, it's a little bit supported. By the way, you know what? I forgot my coffee. I went live without my coffee. Maybe make a coffee break in a minute. And until that changes, also the Linux kernel, also again, GCC, huge code base of interwinding optimization stuff. Linux kernel, mostly freestanding 10,000 drivers. I think we counted them recently. If you are interested in this kind of stuff, you probably want to share, like, and subscribe. We recently counted that. I think it was like 9,000 drivers maybe, or maybe config options. Yeah, I think this was maybe 9,000 config options of a generic AMD 64 x86. And all those drivers, of course, like SCSI, NVMe, and so on, they share some helpers like get little endian and CPU and byte swapping and stuff, or other SMP scheduling primitives and macros and stuff, but again, not everything. Why are we still, why is this, darn, did I, apparently, shit, this was already finished a long time ago. Okay, with tempfs 451, what we can do, let's quickly, so there's tempfs was off, that was of course due. So the last GCC I built with 0302, you see here speed 03 size 02, and that should be quite a bit away. Let's rebuild. This is also again a little bit error prone because due to the nature of full rebuilding. Let's rebuild that with speed. Let's, by the way, time this GCC. Let's this takes a while. This should be at least, so the problem is we don't only need to recompile the Linux kernel, we also need to recompile the whole freaking GNU compiler collection there, and it also takes a while for that. So my solution for that is YOLO that, because we're not writing the compiler and maybe not fixable. And let's mark some stuff high performance. So for that I would suggest a new flag here. Yeah, non-LTO and like, oops, not Perl. Perf, performance critical. And I checked, so the Linux kernel is not the most affected, as I just wanted to finish, because we're not using link time optimization there yet. And glibc also not, also yeah, ironic. We're also not link time optimizing glibc because it fails with unresolved symbols, isn't that? Yeah, thank you very much. Because otherwise I would think, also maybe we would get a quite noticeable speed up if glibc would allow and would not break with LTO link time optimization. But thinking about that, it probably also affects LVM Clang. We could benchmark that, but again, this is benchmarking. LVM Clang needs rebuilding. How long did this build? Did it build, was it 20 minutes each, or I forgot, 10 or 20 minutes we could actually, do we have this in, actually we should have that in here. So it built here from 19, oh, okay, we cannot directly compare that because this was certainly built in parallel with 18 architectures, so yeah, might have quite some significant load. But given that LVM Clang is quite modern C++ code, I would expect that to be similar, and Firefox is using that. Or if you build your whole system, previous video I've done this a year ago, was just not the most amazing result as per usual. Also, maybe it was due to also this optimization. Marking here stuff that is so performance critical, at least for us, that yeah, marking this perf that didn't exist yet, so we invented that today, and then change as a T2 GCC code here, of then building with just O2 and just O3 or something, for smarter being our in T2 distribution profile database stuff. The thing is, so we could simply, here smarter, this should run, I think this has, we probably has flag or so for that package there, no, package, something. Okay, let's, maybe without underscore or, and also maybe conf. Maybe not conf, but parse config. Here has flag. So, and that would be okay. We could actually, not to duplicate this code, has flag perf. The question is, of course, what do we choose here? Because we have smart and smarter, don't necessarily really want to compile this with O3 though. Although, I mean, I tested that. I think compiling the Linux kernel with the compiler itself built with O3 was only a second or two faster. That was not the most amazing. The question is, do we really, I don't really want to waste too many resources on optimizing everything with O3, or at least this huge code bases. Maybe we simply use O2 for now in both cases, and because otherwise this is just too much, and make this. So I changed this also previously. I had here hard-coded OS. I today changed this to opts, optimize O3, O2, depending on smarter, then O3, otherwise O2, and size. Yeah, so that is so smarter. So that was previously this, yeah, OS. Actually, this was what I tested around here. That didn't. Probably I should spend. This is a recurring theme. Why do we have? Last year we already made long live streams building a whole system with LVM Clang, and then finding huge performance. I think it was like 20% performance regression. LVM Clang building that with shared objects, so much to statically linking and link time optimizing all this stuff together. Huge performance benefit there, so much to I was shocked myself. If we keep this in the back of our mind, that this is not yet an optimal solution and could be improved, then we could come back to that some other month or year. So if perf, then just O2 for now. We could make this O3, but nah, I think this is a little bit, I think we don't want that. This is too much for the smarter. Optimizing everything O3 is not smart. So yeah, opt also is a typo. Opt, maybe should we have this in one line? Yeah. Optimize O2, yeah, and otherwise smarter O3 OS, O2 OS. I think we could leave it like that. The only thing is maybe I don't save it yet. So how long did this? Actually, this didn't build too long. This only built, it always felt longer. So this, let's double check that this is now built with, yeah, speed only O2, and let's see what the only, yeah, so I usually compile also, we should compile. The problem is if we compile, this is the art of benchmarking. If you make the mistake of benchmarking your own smart stuff of OS versus O3 or 2, you get total random bullshit, obviously, because as you tinker on your own optimization settings there, on your database and profile stuff, then you vastly skew and benchmark apples and oranges, obviously. So let's build that here in a moment. Let me grab the coffee and I'm back in just a minute or two. Happens. So let's see the final verdict. 4 minutes 49. What did we have before? I think some of this is similar-ish. Huh? This is a little bit funny. Results. So we had GCC O2 and here fixed O2 449. I'm pretty sure we had this. Actually, I'm also considering to make my life easier. Packages. Linux to change after like 20 years or 18 years, to maybe change that build time output here to include the time directly, because now the fastest build time, I mean, some probably controlled feed, but otherwise this is not as fast as I expected though. And just to show you how time consuming that is, we can for a test, okay, let's save that here, not to lose that. Let's see what the regular mix remove the new perf thing there. What do we have? So now we need to change the config setting again from speed to smarter. The only thing is I also need my Tmax setting. This is the default, not even sure what is the default Tmax scrollback. I have this mapped at yeah, thank you very much. The default scrollback is Control B and then angle bracket. Thank you very much. It is a little bit error prone to, can't find window here. Thank you very much. On not only German layout but also where is here German layout on a Apple bloody freaking Bluetooth keyboard. So Control B. Oh, yeah, that works. This is why I have this mapped to not only Control A but also Escape. Control A, Escape, much nicer. So 3 minutes 20 maybe. And previously we built the Linux kernel in. Okay, it's not that much off. That was 451, should have been the mix of O2. What did we even? Maybe this was already my edited. I had this already. Okay, now we get an even different result because I had this already edited to Mix 0302 Novi Mix 03 OS. Yeah, cheers. Now I have coffee at least. Yeah, but basically this is what, yeah, some people's job, not mine, only a little bit on YouTube. Cheers, some people, yeah, first of all working on compilers and then benchmarking, like, yeah, whole day sitting like that, or obviously preferably fully automated. But yeah, basically you can benchmark the whole day. All this exotic combinations. As usual, leave in the comments below what's your take. Oh, it's also back in a second actually. Need to stop the micro reversing. But yeah, do we even? Oh, yeah, there. Basically, I should actually check if some, because the OBS preview looks a little bit distorted. By the way, so the next live stream I will try to resurrect this thing, but Linux on this pain in the ass, graphic Gmax and bloody Broadcom wireless packaged that. Started to package that T2 because, yeah, also don't buy Macs, certainly here, not the old ones, not the new ones. Not Linux friendly, Broadcom graphic Max things like, yeah, thank you very much. So that finished. Let's double check that. So that is 0302 because smarter. Let's see where that is. Also, this is actually not what we would. Anyway, let's benchmark that. Let's change, not tempfs. Let's change that to speed to compare apples with faster. Or compare, we shouldn't say apples, no apples here. Also that is, by the way, I hope I used the right too many. Oh, this was Control B. Let's hope I use the right build target thing. Yeah, build, because build package to really compare. Here's the same thing. Basically, I could actually stop the live stream and show you the result. But again, performance related. This is not even everything previous videos, right? I should actually more automate that and create some more profiles. This is a little bit not really profile guided. It's similar to GCC's profile guided, our smart profiles, but basically this allows you to build stuff along at home on PlayStation, SG-Octane or just your AMD Ryzen, and avoid all the time-consuming profile guided runs and use of our, like basically what I said in the beginning, most code never runs, size optimized and then hot spots, hot passes, 02, 03. It was amazing before link time optimization, but yeah. So maybe I pause that, or actually we could, even if the outcome is, what did we use now? We used 0302. What we could actually do then, not to waste this work, if the outcome is that it actually works quite well despite my not as fast as everything 02 necessarily, but if we use this perf, we could actually use this 03, 02, and what do we do? Oh, wait a second. This is a bit confusing. Smarter. Wait a second. We wanted S here, so that should be. You see, I already messed this up here. What did we even? All right, we built this 03, 02. So smarter should be. Actually, would it be easier to read? Maybe it would be easier to read to keep that here together. Smart, so we are, You know what, it would actually probably be much more readable if we just said this is in the smart wildcard case here, and that should be O2 OS. I think this is much more readable like that and smarter. So O2, what do we even type here? OS and smarter O3 opts and opt. I guess it is much more readable because I started myself already to make some editing mistakes. And actually, we could, we don't even need to set this. We could theoretically delete that though, but if we use OS because it's the same. So, and then for performance stuff, we could do then the same, clean this up a little bit while this is still building. And like if performance, then not O2, but the question is only is O1. Like at least O2, so that we could, it's like, yeah, O2, oops. Because especially, or actually, you know what, we could, I mean, if we want to go completely crazy, which obviously sometimes we want, right? Everything in the kitchen sink. Germany, there's this thing, eierlegende Wollmilchsau, like eggs producing wool pig or so. We could actually conditionalize that because you know what, this is actually, yeah, if we wanted to unify that even more, we could. So it should be O2 OS, but this is also like refactoring, right? And readable code. Some people, sometimes I see some people's code is like barely readable, and sometimes it takes some refactoring or some code shoveling of producing some nicely readable art. So it should be O2 OS, basically that one, except if it is performance, then performance it's smarter, then it should be O3, and actually let's simplify that then here. So that is actually how it should be, opt O2, like smarter, at least profile PK, and this build for 48. So that is a little bit of a surprise. Maybe I sometimes, unfortunately, so not only the problems, of course, it's warm in the office, and liquid cooling and performance boosting stuff. Fun fact, pro tip, very theoretically, you best benchmark performance stuff without dynamic turbo boosting, because so we have 448. So this was for O3, but this was O3, O2. I mean, so probably what I said in the beginning is still valid, that size optimizing all the rest of O2 is posing quite some. So we had still one more running. Yeah. Let's do this one more time, not to commit here some random nonsense. Let's smart, and theoretically let's, for the final verdict here, for the final verdict, O2 OS, let's finish that. So, and if it has flag perf, then let's make the minimal optimization OS. I think this covers all bases. So O2 OS, smarter O3, and if perf, actually if we have only one condition, we can shorten that. I find this actually nicely readable. Perf, then size optimize O2 at least, and that still combines with O3. And so one oops, one more, so that would be gcc conf I want. So smart right now, let's build this one more time because you can never double check too much. And let's test it. And by the way, while we wait for that, speed O2 OS. So waiting for some business email, so theoretically. It also annoys me quite the heck out of that. So I would expect that to take over 5 minutes to build the Linux kernel, but we will see. It looks like I probably skewed half of the results of my previous nights with not building a TempFS because, yeah. And I'm also surprised that this NVMe SSD is so much faster. It makes somewhat sense, however, you shouldn't forget that I have 96 gigs of memory in there, and I would have expected most of the stuff to be so cached and stuff, but apparently all the locking and atomic guarantees and POSIX file system stuff cause so much flushing overhead of writing that I guess the Linux kernel, all the thousands of drivers, actually we could, let's fact check that, 5, 12, 9, oops, yeah, it doesn't matter, find name. Yeah, 5000 K objects, so yeah, 9000 config options, because some drivers have config options and then all the architectural and so on. What really annoys me enormously is this new top right, in my opinion. I said this before, but while we wait for the results here, we have some minutes. This new top, yeah, compiling GCC, yeah, serial configured times and stuff, you name it. Yeah, 17 frames, Intel Surface Core i7 ULV. Yeah, never again ULV. Yeah, tablet garbage. I find this sorting rather hilarious, right? They waste the what is it, proc PS something ng. In my opinion, total design fail, and I said previously by bpi top. So much more amazing, except RxVT Unicode, some graph and Unicode stuff, yeah, look better in Alacrity and so on. But I guess also, yeah, gradient color stuff of also, yeah, actually, yeah, mouse support can't mark this. But in my opinion, this is really a step back with so many cores wasting so much screen real estate. Total usability design fail in my opinion. Plus, when I run top, I want to see what is using the most CPU and not have this sorted by PI. What is it even sorted? Is it? No, what? I don't even know what this is sorted by, to be honest. Sorting also. Alright, maybe because sorted by PID, maybe, or is it sorted by time? Because there's a plus. In any case, this makes totally zero sense to me. I think I patched the default 42. Let's see, tar download SMP proc psng. Yeah, that was it. And will we find this quickly? That there's top, and of course C and sort. Do they have sorts? Windows sort callbacks. Yeah, doing that in C, totally amazing, right? SCB name. C is amazing. They got this right. What is our build doing? We're still building GCC. So yeah, that is still building. What time do we have? We have 18. Oops, did I touch probably Don't tell me. Where is now my window? Did I move that strangely? Where is now my window? Maybe I accidentally mouse wheel sensitive. Must have touched the mouse, bloody magic mouse, wrong. Recurring theme when you have bloody Bluetooth Apple devices. Anyway, this is still building, maybe already a sign that it did not previously build much faster. Maybe underlining my points that at least, oops. Let's double check that. Apparently, we just finished. Let's see. 8 minutes. I think previously this was just like 3 something, right? Control. I mean, it at least makes a point that you don't want to use OS size optimization with huge C++ code bases. Yeah, previously 325. Double the build time. Not sure, did it run this with Bootstrap or? No, it's running this. Why is this? Or is it even then rebuild? I'm not sure if it's using. Maybe it's already using the XGCC. This is really crazy slow though. So yeah, change this back to speed to compare oranges with oranges. Speed, time, Linux kernel, and here probably it was. So let's the bloody sorting. Where would be do they have here top something? What even was the sorting option top? No, thank you very much. Oath, is it oath? Sorting, override sorting field, or which task be sorted and when what reflections the configuration file you prepend -o. By the way, this color theme is also so much too. I improved. Yeah, C code can't even. Is it NHLS? Oops. The state of NLS also appears to be amazing. But even up to 68 weeks of CPU time, there you have that. Ah, shit. Oh, they have graphs. I probably can configure graphs now. Because this is, of course, building. Yeah, simply even this matches so often. Darn. Yeah, simply patch something and then you don't even find that quickly. No processor PCPO. NS would be user. No, so much too quickly patching that. Yeah, we are still building. So we are 26. How much? This was 5 minutes. So we're expecting 27. In case you're wondering why we need an epic thread ripping processes. So is this here SF CPU? Nah. Quickly change that 1 hour later. I wonder, but leave me in the comments below, does it trigger you, this top behavior, or do you like a 2707? So we are approaching 5 minutes would be 27:30. But yeah, so recurring theme we had, did we had something similar last year with LVM Clang? I mean, very theoretically, another solution would be to this GCC performance marginality, not to use OS with C++ sources, which are rare anyway. Maybe theoretically we have an independent, or we should have an independent C++ wrapper. At the end, okay, 5 minutes, yeah, so that is as slow as what did we have? We had 4, yeah, so there we have it. It's mostly OS. And the question is, I mean, I could make, but there's also why I ask for share, like, and subscribe, and Patreon, GitHub, and OnlyFans, and what else do we have? GitHub, Patreons, OnlyFans, direct PayPal, and Amazon affiliate. So many options. Can spend literally whole days and weeks with the art of benchmarking and optimizing whole system. So yeah, OS is not amazing for C++ sources. So yeah, and this is also why I was so shocked the other day when between new system and it's like, yeah, it is nearly a minute between O2 and mixtures of that and OS and slight variations of that. That was probably O2 OS. And I think I got closer. I added a lot of files of GCC in there. But yeah, maybe we should simply use different combinations for C versus C++. And theoretically we could, it's like compile C++ at least with O2 or different inlining limits. But yeah, long story short, so we have here, the final test would be for now anyway, until we come up with something even more smart. And the big distributions mostly use O2, by the way, and Linus Torvald the other day famously shouted again that O3 is not recommended for the kernel because too many compilers out there that break too much random stuff with O3. in the name of optimizations. Hey, and we have some super chat donations. Thanks for that. Aditya Sonovane, appreciate it as usual, and sorry for random pronunciations. Try my best here. Parse something, parse config package GCC. Let's try if we not to break everything. So the first step we could, as I said here, this is performance relevant, and then parse config. I highly appreciate it. Probably I'm not sure if this is, it converts it to €1.13, so yeah, I should get a beer for that, or two, maybe a premium beer even. Thanks for that. Certainly the coffee and stuff. So not to break, I mean, it's multiple things. As I try also to usually promote some best practices, not randomly change too much. We just released 18 architectures, and we rather want to gradually improve stability and not break too much stuff. So changing like everything could potentially break more stuff, do more harm than good. And following our recommendations here would be, this is how it was supposed to be, O2 OS, O3 OS, and perf then O2. So this would be new, and this shouldn't break something, and only add this new. We could test this. I think I change this to wait a second. Theoretically, let's try this with smarter. Let's see how far we get there. And oops, unknown. We need somewhere. Where would that be? Either we need to teach T2 that this is a new flag. Maybe we had misc archive, or misc maybe change package flags. Force documentation of this stuff. Something of, okay, the other, I don't have full sentences. Yeah, whatever. Do we have, funny that the other don't have string. Yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. Let's try that again one more time. And additionally, some other live stream, probably it would be a somewhat good live stream to do more profile guided stuff, of preferably also fully automated, like building all the T2 packages, maybe running their check and test suite, which I guess will also randomly fail, but use their tests and test suite and checks, make check, make test, and so on. Also, yeah, automation, right? All the packages will have different, some will have make check, some will have make test, and so on. But use that to sample the test suite and more automatically fill the T2 profile guided stuff to find performance critical files. While I still try to find this sorting here, actually I slightly wonder what would be, maybe we find this easier in the config file, sorting of override sort field. It should have %CPU. Let's see if we find that now. Okay, this appears to be EU CPU. sort. Oh, this is apparently this is sort index. Okay, let's sort index. Oops, shit. Where is the default? Current window, show high colors. Where is the default initialization for that? Check W high colors. In my opinion, not the most. Oh, here's also the option handling actually. I guess, or is, oh no, this is keyboard, this is not Fuse utility. Yeah. Looked like keyboards. Oh, here's S. Let's maybe top. Delay what? Change delay what? Okay, this is not really strange stuff. Lastly, we must adjust to the old salt feed enum. Oops. Wait, there was something previous. Here's equals P, what is here? M. Here's key extra, okay, so CPU is capital P. Never needed that before because it is default. So yeah, something like that I would expect, to be honest. Sorting, I mean, who wouldn't want this sorted by CPU load, huh? Also processes exiting so quickly though. Ah, we built 3 minutes. So yeah, there you have that. This was Control B here. The previous list with size optimization took 8 minutes something versus half the time. I guess this bootstrap thing xgcc probably runs already itself, I guess, potentially. Configs one more time. This speed, it's a Linux kernel. Just for reference, I hope I run this. This time, build package. Where would be the if p something something f field get unscroll? Yeah, here is what is that? O. Here's option handling. Current window. But yes, C code, we got this totally readable. Man, yeah, the first time I look at it, but yet. 3, no reset, which case is it here? Equals, so yeah, some kind of pointer. What is it? P is procflex of, maybe this is procflex. Here's P, RC, sort index. Maybe we need, what is that defaulting to, or is it simply defaulting to 0 and man, I'm not a fan of this kind of C code. And then people, oh, C is amazing, we totally got that. Or is it in, is it like that? Is it in some header also, sort index? It's only once in the header, sort. It's in RC, so how is it? Maybe Where is the initialization for this shit? Index. Is this the initialization of something? Bye-bye? What the freaking heck? Who needs a real program and bye-bye? What the heck? Are you freaking kidding me? Who names series program? Stuff like that. Yeah, a little bit puzzled where the freaking heck the initialization for this thing is. Maybe it's simply left to 0 or something. Yeah, quickly wanted to patch that. With this optimization, this also means previous videos we were working on the PS3. Not sure if, because sometimes we like previous video building Amiga emulator or other stuff yes, on the PS3 or yeah, Octane, like yeah, running Hello World Octane, like compiling 10 seconds or crazy stuff. This also means if this translates directly, like if we use smart optimization, not sure when we started that, probably a year ago, which of these previous builds of all the previous videos, like yeah, GCC became slow, Hello World on an Octane like 10 seconds, like yeah, maybe it's only 5 seconds, not that it would make it that much better, but yeah, but that's what we're here for on this channel. Code, more code and optimization and tinkering and building Linux. And this is also, yeah, if you change stuff right, smart optimization for the words, 1 year later you find also we're running out of battery, probably good time to end this live stream. 1 year later you find your performance marginalities. Are we even, we're still building though. Let's hope the battery, need to freaking charge that. It's obviously way more comfortable in the office, not only better audio, better multi-display and the power supply for the camera, not ever running except when the power outlet goes dark. Yeah, this puzzles me here really. Sort index, this is really crazy. Not really sure where that is coming from. This kind of stuff that is super readable if you are the original. We are also done 448 actually, so that means we don't need to sledgehammer that totally, only raising performance critical things to 02. That probably could be a nice time to spin new ISOs, at least x86 ones, because yeah, how much faster was that? It was I think it was 530, right? Where was the last Linux kernel here? Linux in, oops. Yeah, 527. I also need to brand new virtual machine, so that helps. So 527, 27 of 60, and that is 448. That should make for a nice speed up of 12%, I guess that should be, if I didn't, 448, 60, 527, 60. Yeah, 12% speed up there. That is obviously, and previously I was happy with 520-ish compile time. Now we are at 448, and more you probably only get with real Epic or Threadripper. Anyway, I hope you learned something. Maybe I continue finding this bloody sort field and patch that. As usual, leave in the comments below what you think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. And there's also the more main channel, probably not in that or that. Anyway, in some corner there, for more pre-edited video content. And I hope to see you soon for all this fun computer science stuff to come.